Hello grade 1 students and welcome back. Today we're going to continue with Unit 4, Plant and Animal Structures. Lesson 3, what body parts help animals meet their needs? When we say meet their needs, we should always keep in mind that we're talking about the body parts that help the animals get what they need to stay alive. Otherwise, they will die. Today we're going to continue with the lesson, and specifically we're going to continue with the animals as models section. In this section we're going to learn how the engineers observe the animals to get ideas to make solutions for our everyday problems. Animals as models. Look at the pictures. How did engineers get ideas from animals to solve problems? So if we take a minute to observe carefully, we will see a kingfish bird in the first picture and a train in the second picture. And we will start thinking, what is the relation between a kingfish bird and a train? Let's check out and see. Japan had a fast train with a problem. It made a loud sound going through tunnels. An engineer saw a bird that could dive without making a sound. He gave the train a pointy front like the bird's beak. Now the train goes through tunnels without making noise. So, Japan had a really fast train, but this train used to make a really loud sound when it's going through the tunnels. So the people started nagging that this train is making a really loud sound as it goes through the tunnels. So the engineers went to the nature to observe the animals and plants over there to get ideas to find a solution for this problem. As they were observing, they found this bird. It's called a kingfish bird, and they observed it carefully because it was able to dive into the water without making any sounds. So the engineers started thinking, why is this bird able to dive without making any sound? So the engineers thought maybe it is because of this pointy beak. So the engineers decided to mimic or copy the shape of the pointy beak of the kingfish bird, and they changed the front of the train to look like the bird's beak. They changed it into a pointy front, and then they tested the train. They sent the train through the tunnel, and there was the surprise. There was no noise anymore. After they changed the front of the train to look like the beak of the bird, which means they changed it into a pointy front, the train didn't make any noise anymore as it passed into the tunnel. So that's how the engineers solved this problem, by mimicking or copying the shape of the kingbird's beak. So they got the solution from this animal. Let's read this paragraph one more time. Japan had a fast train with a problem. It made a loud sound going through tunnels. An engineer saw a bird that could dive without making a sound. He gave the train a pointy front like the bird's beak. Now the train goes through tunnels without making noise. Then the engineers moved as well to the bat. We know that the bat uses the echolocation system to find its food. What do we mean by echolocation system? It means it sends a sound and waits for it to come back, hears it carefully to check if it bounced off any other animals to find its food. So the engineers observed the bat to make this machine. What is this machine? Let's read together to discover. Engineers made a machine that sends sounds into water. They got ideas from bats. The sounds bounce off fish to help fishing boats find them. So the fishermen were spending a lot of time trying to catch fish, and they were unable to catch any. So they went to the engineers and they told them that they have a big problem, that they're spending a lot of time to catch the fish and they're unable to catch any fish. So they asked the engineers to come up with a solution for their problems. So the engineers went to the nature and they started observing the animals over there. And they observed the bat, and they observed carefully the echolocation system, and they used it to make this machine to help the fishermen find the fish. How, you may think? Well, this machine sends a sound into the water, and then this sound hits the fish and bounces off. When it bounces off the fish, it will show over here on the machine, and the fisherman could easily locate the fish. So let's reread the paragraph one more time. Engineers made a machine that sends sounds into water. They got ideas from bats. The sounds bounce off fish to help fishing boats find them. And they got the idea of this machine from the bat to solve the fisherman's problem. Let's move on. So what about the spider's web? What idea could the engineers get from the spider's web? Let's check out and see. Engineers got ideas from spider webs to build large nets. The nets collect the drops of water from the air. The drops go into pipes. Well, in a lot of countries, we don't have a lot of water. That's why the people went to the engineers and asked them to create a tool that will help them collect the drops of water from the air. So the engineers observed and they started to think over and over again, and they went to the nature and they started observing everything around them, and they found the spider's web. They noticed the spider's web and they observed it carefully, and they saw that the spider web could collect the water droplets easily. So they decided to mimic or copy the shape of the spider's web to create a large net that will collect the drops of water from the air and send the water into the pipes to help the people collect more water. So they got the idea of the large net from the spider's web. Let's reread it one more time. Engineers got ideas from spider webs to build large nets. The nets collect the drops of water from the air. The drops go into pipes. These are the pipes, okay, examples of pipes. So they go into the pipes under the ground so the people could use it later on. This is an example of something, what a pipe looks like, okay? Exercise time. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready to wear your thinking cap on? Let's check and see. Draw a line from the animal to the object that was made with an idea from the animal. So we take a minute to observe carefully the animals and the tools or objects that they made from these animals. Let's check out and see. What idea did they make from the woodpecker? You know that the woodpecker pecks on the wood. Take a minute to think. Well, correct! It is the ice peck. How do we know? Because it has the same shape as the woodpecker's beak. So the engineers created this tool to help the climbers climb during the winter season over the snowy mountains using the ice pick. Then again, the engineers observed the cat's eyes, and we know that the cat's eyes glow at night. So what idea did they get from the cat's eyes? They got the road reflectors. So excellent, they got the road reflectors ideas from the cat's eyes. Okay, to help the people see at night. What about the trunk of the elephant? What idea did they get from the trunk of the elephant? Well, think carefully. Correct, they mimicked the shape of the trunk of the elephant to create the robotic arms to help the people who don't have any arms. Okay, clear? Let's move on. Are you guys ready? Engineering activity time. Are you guys ready? Let's go. First, think. So we should think carefully about what you may say. Let's check out and see. How can we use ideas from animals to design a new tool for picking up food? So we should think carefully. How can we use ideas from animals to design a new tool for picking up food? Design, it means to make a new tool, to create a new tool that will help us pick up food. Second, we should draw. Draw what, you may think? Draw your idea of the new tool that you will use to pick up food. Also, draw the animal from which you got the idea from. So you have to draw your idea of the new tool that you will use to pick up the food. Also, you have to draw the animal from which you got the idea from. Third, we should build your tool from things you have at home and test it out at home. So listen up carefully. You build the tool that you drew from things that you have at your home. You don't buy anything from outside. The things and the materials that you have at home, you use them to build your tool, and then you test it out at home. Good luck, little engineers! Thank you. I hope you guys enjoyed the video.